Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavare Asataresha Tarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Gauranga 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 Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada.
Ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki, ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi, Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund, Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham ki, Jagannath Puri Dham ki, Ganga Mai ki, Jamuna Mai ki, Tulsi Devi ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Shri Shri Radha Shyamasundara ki, Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki, Shiman Mahaprabhu ki, Gaur Premanandi. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Adi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Adi Madhava Kunjavi Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Girivara Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jasodanandana Brajachanaranjana Jasodanandana Brajachanaranjana Jamuna Tiravana Chadi Jamuna Tiravana Chadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Adi Kunjavi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Adi Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivara Dhari Jasaranjana Prajajanarandana Jasodanandana Prajajanarandana Yamunatiravana Shadi Yamunatiravana Shadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivijagacharya Astatara Satasi Simad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Gaur Premanandi. Gonna need a portable microphone for this. Happy Dependence Day, everybody. The British are one thing, Krishna is another thing. So the title, Chanting with Quality, is pretty bold, isn't it? I'm going to tell you how to chant with quality, right? Well, it's not me, it's the title is taken from Hari Bhakti Vilas, and we'll see the verse shortly. Hari Bhakti Vilas, I like describing it as a how-to manual, how to fill in the blank. Vaishnavas do different things. Vaishnavas observe Ekadasi, how to observe Ekadasi. Vaishnavas observe Krishna Janmashtami, how to observe Krishna Janmashtami. Some Vaishnavas get married, how to have a marriage, how to worship the deity, how to. And one of the things, very important, is how to chant with quality. So just a refresher from yesterday's discussion. There were many points. Tried to cover too much. But two of the points from yesterday that are outstanding, at least for me, our objective in chanting and our objective during this Festival of Holy Name specifically is to develop our attachment for Krishna. And specifically, attachment for the chanting of Krishna's holy name as the primary means, as all those nice verses we saw yesterday indicate, plus so many more that we didn't show or speak. How to become attached to the holy name. And that means becoming attached to Krishna. An embellishment of that is, many of you are familiar with the 9 stages of bhakti, and the stage, the stage of attachment, asakti, comes after anarthas are removed, and after the stage of steadiness comes attachment, taste, and bhava, ecstasy. So yesterday, a refresher from yesterday, we heard some verses that spoke of both the stage of taste and attachment, and then ecstasy. Remember the one that was speaking about ecstasy? Anandam Bodhi Vardhanam. Ananda, Ambodhi, Vardhanam. Vardhanam means expanding. Ananda, Ambodhi, Vardhanam. So that's a subtitle here. Awakening a taste and then experiencing beyond taste ecstasy. So I'm not going to spend so much time on the ecstasy part. Hopefully you'll get there. But chanting is a means to get there. It's a means and it's the goal. So we'll hear something about that. So awakening a taste, to get a glimpse into what that taste looks like. One of our fantastic acharyas is Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami has written about taste of chanting. Vidagdha Madhava is one of the places where he speaks about chanting. And there's 3 parts, but the image that just showed on the screen is honey and honeycomb and a little instrument for distributing the honey. So there's sweetness or special quality that we're not there yet, but we would like to. And by following Rupa Goswami and elevated souls, we may get there. From Vidagdha Madhava, 3 parts, or 4 parts. I do not know how much nectar the 2 syllables Krishna have produced. So the starting point is bhajana kriya, the looking up to the sound of the holy name. And this is part of what we're going to be speaking about shortly. Having regard for the holy name. And then chanting. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth. It appears to dance. If you're Rupa Goswami, that's what happens. The holy name appears to dance within the mouth. So there's the regard for the name, there's the making of the sound, and focus on making the sound, and Krishna's dancing in the mouth or on the tongue. Then, when that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire many millions of ears. You can't drink enough of that nectar. More ears, more ears, more ears. This is Rupa Goswami. Maybe not us, but Rupa Goswami. So regard, and the discussion this evening is going to be on the regard part. The making the sound, the hearing of the sound, and then when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, when that wonderful day comes, the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart. It conquers the activities of the mind. If the mind is restless and distracted and problematic, invite the holy name to come into your heart. The activities of the mind become conquered, and therefore all the senses become inert. So this is the samadhi verse that we spoke about yesterday from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6. So there's taste, and taste or quality chanting comes about from sadhana. Sadhana can lead to higher stages besides just practice, practice, practice. That's why we're here. Quality chanting, at least moving towards it. Here's a statement Prabhupada made about chanting with quality. Why 16 rounds? Why not 16,000 rounds? That is the meaning of quality, not quantity, but the meaning is not enough. Therefore, chant at least 16 rounds. When you come to chanting with quality, you will feel, well, 16 rounds. Why not 16,000? When that bell rings, you're chanting with quality. And until then, you can practice. Now, some of the people here, the devotees assembled, were present when Nityananda Pran and Hemangi were invited to come to ISKCON Naperville and speak, and the topic they chose was this one. I'm hearing, I'm chanting, but barely changing. Who here attended that? Huh? It did not happen. What happened? They couldn't come, or we couldn't host? They couldn't come. Oh. Well, guess what? The following weekend, there's going to be a japa retreat in Houston, and they're going to speak on this topic in Houston. So stay tuned, and we'll get a recording. So I thought they did. But the expression is quite familiar, just an honest expression for most of us, or many of us at least. Hearing, chanting, but barely changing. So that's the mediocrity, the mechanical punch the clock, chant the 16 rounds consistently, or however many newer persons here chanting less than 60, whatever that number is. It's the anticipation is transformation. And I'm sure some of the discussion in the discussion groups and application, etc., will how to go beyond that. So going beyond mediocrity. Now, I'm going to go way up and then come back down again. The way up is one of the seminars I've given is a seminar on Manashiksha. Manashiksha. Instructions to the mind. And Manashiksha is very elegant book written by Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami in that book is presenting Raga Bhakti. That's up there. I'm looking up because Raga Bhakti is a very elevated stage of bhakti. And one of the verses, verse number 3, it's a nice melody. I don't think we need it. You can hear it. So the recording is Mukunda and Shruti. Mukunda is going to sing the verse. You'll see it on the screen with nice music in the background, little violin. And
Yadi cher avasham vrajabhuvi saragam pratijanur yuvatvam tachchit paricharitum aradabilashe Svarupam shirupam saganamiha tasyagrajamapi Sputam premna nityam smaranamadadatvam shrunumana.
so this isn't specifically about chanting, but it's connected with the process of devotional service that brings one to the stage of quality in the stage and actually the stage of perfection. Because that's what the Hari Bhakti Vilas verse that we'll be referring to speaks about. So Shruti can be embarrassed, but the next is the music and her recording of the translation.
Listen, O mind, if you desire in every birth to reside in the land of Vraja with loving attachment, and to serve the youthful couple of Sri Sri Radha Krishna in close proximity, then clearly remember and offer obeisances to Sri Swarup, Sri Rupa and his associates in Vrindavan, and to Sri Rupa's elder brother, Sri Sanatan.
The painting, of course, is the six Goswamis, one of whom, can you take this? One of whom is Raghunath Das, he's number 6. So he's referring to Rupa and Sanatan, and he's also referring to Sri Swarup. Sri Swarup is Swarup Damodar, and Swarup Damodar was the devotee Lalita Devi in Krishna Lila, Swarup Damodar in Gaura Lila, who trained him or was his guide and disclosed to him the highest truths that exist, that is, the moods of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the ecstasies of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the ecstasies of prema that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was experiencing and exhibiting. And he got a close-up view of all of that by first-hand experience and having it all disclosed to him in detail by Swarup Damodar. So, like the question yesterday, sadhu sangha is essential. And how can we associate with Swarup Damodar? Good luck, right? He's long gone because he's Lalita. But so by instructions, and Swarup Damodar's instructions were passed on to Raghunath. Raghunath Das's instructions are passed on to Krishna Das Kaviraj. Krishna Das Kaviraj took those instructions, including the diary of Swarup Damodar, and what he heard from Raghunath Das Goswami, and wrote Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we can access Swarup Damodar through Chaitanya Charitamrita, because it's Swarup Damodar. And same Rupa and Sanatan. We're going to hear something in Sanat about or by Sanatana Goswami shortly from Hari Bhakti Vilas on quality chanting. So that's how we can associate with these personalities, through sound. The whole of ISKCON is resting on our founder Acharya. And besides his Murti form, there's his books and recorded lectures, and we can associate with him through that medium, through sound. So that's what we're doing. Here's the translation of the verse one more time. So the aspiration of Raghunath Das Goswami, the aspiration of a Rasika Bhakta, is not liberation, but eternal, loving attachment. Remember from yesterday. The objective of what we're doing, the objective of these 7 excellences of bhakti, is to help us move from where we have been to at least closer to being lovingly attached. And then very specifically, lovingly attached to serving the youthful couple in Vrindavan in close proximity, eternally. That's high. So now let's go back down again to where we are. Here's some nice images of the 2, one can say 2, authors of Hari Bhakti Vilas. Now, technically, Sanatana Goswami is the author, but Sanatana Goswami received a manuscript from Gopal Bhatta Goswami because Gopal Bhatta Goswami wasn't in Vrindavan for many years. He was residing in Sri Rangam, where Lord Chaitanya told him to stay and serve his parents until the time came when he could leave Sri Rangam and go and join Rupa and Sanatan. That was his instruction. And so sure enough, he did. And while he was in Sri Rangam, he compiled this how-to manual. And when he got to Vrindavan, he gave the manuscript to Sanatana Goswami with two requests. One, please organize this in such a way that it's publishable. Two, don't mention my name. That was his mood. So he didn't mention his name, but I am. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami, the image is before his Shilas, and one of those Shilas self-manifested the form of Radharaman, and Sanatana Goswami. So the section of Hari Bhakti Vilas that deals with chanting with quality, there's the verse citation, and there's 4 lines. And there's 6 parts. Mana, Samharanam, Shocham, those are 2. Shocham, cleanliness. Mana, Samharanam. Maunam, Mantrartha, Chintanam. That's another 2. Avyagravatvam, Anivedo, Japa, Sampati, Hetava. And at least the translator that I am familiar with, Japa Sampati is translated as perfection in Japa. So not just quality, but perfection. So these are 6 principles, according to Hari Bhakti Vilas, that teach us how to achieve sadhana, sthiti, or perfection. Quality means why 16, why not 16 million? Meaning, I can't get enough of it. So here's the breakdown of the terms. Mana samharanam, subduing the mind. Good luck. Shocham, cleanliness. Maunam, so we're going to, during our 64-round day, we're going to be requesting all of you, Mauna, Vrata. Mantrartha Chintanam. So we're going to spend time on number 1 and number 4 during today's class. And by the way, these 2 terms, Mana Samharanam and Mantrartha Chintanam, predated Gopal Bhatta Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, the author of Patanjali Yoga Sutras happened to be Patanjali. And he predated both Rupa and Sanatan and Gopal Bhatta. So they, Gopal Bhatta, was certainly conversant in the teachings of how to achieve perfection through yoga practice taught, and we're going to hear those instructions from Patanjali Muni shortly. But I'm just making the comment, they didn't do, fiction. They drew from Patanjali as a very respected, authoritative source on the Ashtanga Yoga system. And the Ashtanga Yoga system involves the principles of yoga, not only the meditation procedures. There's principles. That's what Patanjali Yoga Sutras include. So I'm pointing out, I'll say it again. Mana Samharanam, you'll see the phrases several times just now. And Mantrartha Chintanam. Subduing the mind and meditating on the sound, the mantra's meaning. Patience. Now Rupa Goswami uses another word for patience in his writings with the same principle. And Anirvedo, steadiness. So for a sustained period of time. That's what's found in Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Japa, sampati, hetava. Now, rather than the literal translation, here's from Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his writing Bhajana Rahasya. Here's what he writes as his commentary or explanation of these 6 from Hari Bhakti Vilas. To be attentive, purification of the heart is required. This means keeping silence, that is, avoiding unfavorable talking. While chanting, one must affectionately remember the meaning of the mantra. Affectionately is italicized. Steadiness, patience, and attachment to chanting are all treasures of chanting. He calls them treasures, but the means for achieving perfection or quality. Shiva Maharaj takes these same and explains them this way, these 6. These are the causes of success in chanting: subduing the mind, cleanliness, avoiding unnecessary talking, remembering the meaning of the mantra, patience, and not becoming disappointed or persevering over time. Now, I mentioned yesterday evening, for the benefit primarily of Leela Manjari, of a book written by Dhyanachandra Goswami. Now, in ISKCON, we don't know so much about Dhyanachandra Goswami. As you see on the right side, there's the book in Bengali, because he was Bengali. He lived in Puri, as did his guru. His guru was Gopal Guru. Gopal Guru is nice personality. I don't want to get distracted in storytelling, but very elevated person who also wrote about these 6 principles from Hari Bhakti Vilas, because chronologically there's Patanjali, there's Sanatana Goswami and Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and then chronologically Vakreshwara Pandit and his disciple Gopal Guru and his disciple Dhyanachandra. So Gopal Guru resided in Puri. Dhyanachandra, his disciple, resided in Puri. He wrote this book, this padati, step by step, of absorption, smarana, and Gora Govinda Archana, worship of Gora Govinda. So here's 2 of those verses. See on the left side, Mana Samharana Shocham Monam Mantrartha Chintanam. It's taken directly. He's explaining in his words what this verse from Hari Bhakti Vilas means. This book, big part of the book is how to chant in a qualitative way. The sadhaka shall not move his head and neck about. That's the first part. It's not like major. Nor show his teeth. He shall sanctify his mind by withdrawing it from the objects of the senses, mana samharanam, pondering the meaning of the mantra, and mauna, maintaining silence. That's someone's translation of that verse. Here's the other one. I mentioned this yesterday to Leela Manjari. The mantra should be situated in the mind, and the mind should be situated in the mantra. The mind and mantra should be joined together. This is the characteristic of japa. So this is explaining his way of explaining what Hari Bhakti Vilas writes about chanting with quality or chanting with perfection. Here's a photo on the right side of Gopal Guru. And I'm going to refrain from telling the story of Gopal Guru, but just great authority. Vakreshwara Pandit, his guru, was not only an excellent dancer, but he was a very elevated Vaishnav that understood the conclusions of scripture, and many, many, many nice things Vakreshwara Pandit did, including training Gopal Guru in the process of chanting. So Gopal Guru wrote, backwards. Hari Nama Maha Mantra Vyakya Smarana Padati, very similar to the title of his disciple. The system for remembering the Lord. See, he also speaks of Mantrartha Chintanam, that particular part. So this is translated, and I'm going to focus on this part, Mantrartha Chintanam. So the meaning of the mantra, and the second is artha. So we all know the meaning of artha, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Artha in the material platform is wealth or economic development. On the spiritual platform, it's appreciating the value. So we're going to focus on these two because it's in his writing. Meditating on the meaning and the value of the mantra. So 2 parts. Here's what he writes, and this is found in many, many places. What's the meaning of Hare? Here's what he writes. The personality of Godhead, who has a form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, has maintained himself in the form of his name, because he takes away ignorance and its activities. The devotees remember him as Hari. Sri Radha, who is the Lord's own pleasure potency, steals the mind of Krishna. She is therefore praised as Hara. Krishna is Hari, and she is Hara because she steals his mind. The vocative form of Hara is Hare. Now, we just keep it really simple, but where does what we say come from? One of the sources one can say comes from Gopal Guru, Goswami. Hara is the vocative of, Hare is the vocative of Hara. She steals the mind of Hari. So that's the first of the 3. And then the meaning of Krishna's name, he writes, Sri Krishna is the eternal beloved of Radha, who is bliss personified, the beautiful dark son of Nanda, with eyes like lotus petals, is the only source of bliss for the residents of Gokula. He is therefore known as Krishna. There are many things we can say, the meaning. Therefore, the names Hare and Krishna mean Radha and Krishna, and are full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. So the recommendation isn't getting distracted and trying to remember the meaning of the mantra while you're chanting the mantra. It's joining. It's just a natural process. How to go from mediocrity to absorption is there has to be some sense of the meaning of what you're speaking. It's not parallel processors. It's the purposefulness of the activity. And the purposefulness of the activity that we're doing right now connects with what we're going to be discussing this evening. How to have proper respect and regard for the name, you have to know what the name is and the meaning. All of this is to go from mediocrity to absorption, or closer to absorption and attachment. So these are teachings given in Hari Bhakti Vilas, how to do that. And the meaning of the name Rama, he has a very interesting explanation. That same Sri Krishna, who is the chief amongst those expert in loving affairs, And the worshipable deity of amorous pastimes always enjoys Radha. He is therefore called Rama, or Radha Ramana Rama. Radha Ramana Rama. He is the enjoyer of Radha Ramana. That's his explanation. Now, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we have two additional explanations, and we know what those are. Rama can mean Balaram, Rama can mean Ramachandra, so there's two more meanings. And Prabhupada writes, they're both right. So now we have three meanings of Rama. You can take your favorite. Gopal Guru has given his. And Srila Prabhupada made it very simple. The meaning of the Hare Krishna mantra, really simple. My dear Radha, my dear Krishna, please engage me in your service. Here's Prabhupada speaking about the meaning of the mantra.
Jima Bhaktya. The real thing is bhakti. What you can offer to Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna. What you have got, what is your value? And what is the value of your things? There is nothing. Therefore, the real thing is bhaktya. Real thing is your feeling. Krishna, kindly take it. I have no qualification. I am most rotten fallen. But I applaud this thing for you. Please take. This will be accepted. Don't be puffed up. Always be careful. You are dealing with Krishna. That is my request. Thank you.
Sublime, huh? Now, externally, Prabhupada would not always manifest that mood, and one can assume the mood is within him, and as mood or ecstasies move in waves, sometimes it would come out, sometimes it would subside, but it's the mood of quality that our founder Acharya had, spontaneous he would exhibit. So there's something about the meaning of the mantra, and now something about the value of the mantra, mantrartha chintanam. One of the references I like about the value of the mantra is directly in Rupa Goswami's Namastaka, 8 prayers about chanting of the name. And the second of those 8 prayers, the holy name is worshipped by liberated souls, as even Namabhas destroys all types of miseries. Because so if Namabhas destroys all types of miseries and people want to be happy, isn't that a valuable thing, to chant the holy name? And here's how he writes. Tvam anadarad api manag udharitam. If someone utters you, even with negligence, because that's abhas, you know, the kind, the distracted mind, you know that one. And we're chanting, and the mind is distracted. Even if someone utters with distraction or negligence, you destroy his severe material miseries. This is your mighty power. So this is on the topic of meditate on the value of the name as well as the meaning of the name. And these are 2 principles that will help us go from mediocrity to quality. I put this word anadarad in red letters because that's this evening's topic. And sometime during the day, you can check your WhatsApp group or however you do this. I'm going to send you a little document, or Amrita Kelly is going to send you a little document that has a number of references in Adarat and Anadarat. Generally speaking, commonly speaking, Adarat is translated as respect. Rupa Goswami translates it in Nectar of Instruction, or Prabhupada translates it in Nectar of Instruction as with attention. So you pay attention to that which you have respect for. So, inattention, or with negligence, or namabhas, nama is so powerful that it can take away even severe material miseries. So therefore, that's a great value. Here's some other references that I like. So this is from a section in Padyavali, where Rupa Goswami is gathering references from different authors. In this case, this is an unknown author, where he's speaking about the glories of the holy name, the value of chanting the holy name. Extracting the 4 syllables that are the heart of the 4 Vedas, Lord Hari makes the word Narayana, that's 4 syllables. Day and night chanting this name, we become purified, the value. We do not know any other better way to please Lord Hari. The spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Ishwara Puri. Here's his glorification of the value of the holy name. It's very nice. Let the twice-born enter the fearless kingdom of yoga, Vedic study, and solitary meditation in the forest. Let them become liberated in that way. He's not like poo-pooing, he's just saying, let them be happy with what they're happy with. As for us, plural, not just him, we will spend hundreds of thousands of births chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, whose splendid dark complexion and yellow garments are like a host of blue lotuses blossoming in a grove of yellow flower-bearing kadamba trees. Very poetic, and this is a value chanting with the holy name, because there's value in chanting the holy name beyond liberation. In other words, the aspiration for liberation is one thing. Certainly Prabhupada speaks about it, but the aspiration for liberation is not the fullness of what the holy name can give. So he's appreciating the holy name. And here's another nice reference, again, author unknown. May Krishna's holy name, which is a reservoir of all transcendental happiness, the destruction of Kali Yuga's sins, the most purifying of all purifying things, the saintly person's food as he quickly traverses the path to the spiritual world, the pleasure garden where the voices of the great saints, philosophers, and poets play, the life of the righteous and the seed of the tree of religion bring transcendental auspiciousness to you all. So it's a benediction giving. There is such value to the holy name. May you all get that value. And please chant. Pause. Because now comes the final section, and it's a little shorter. This is from Patanjali. There's a nice little drawing of Patanjali. And I mentioned, now repeating, he's the predecessor of the six Goswamis. Many centuries before they existed, he wrote Patanjali Yoga Sutras. And the same subduing the mind, you remember the phrase? Mana samharanam. Mana samharanam. So practice it during this japa retreat and thereafter. So here's a little graphic to help understand mantra samharanam. Subduing the mind. Not easy to subdue the mind. Conditioned souls have minds. It's just chapter 6 Bhagavad Gita. Same for the teachings of Patanjali, because he's also giving teachings on the Ashtanga Yoga system, which is chapter 6 Bhagavad Gita. Now here's another reference that's saying the same thing. It's not easy. The source of this is Bhartrihari's Subhashitas. Bhartrihari is a poet and an intellectual and a well-respected person in Vaishnava circles, and even outside of Vaishnava circles. He has words of wisdom. Here's what he says. So as you hear, picture in your mind each one. The mind is like a monkey. Not only a monkey, a drunken monkey. Not only a drunken monkey stung by a scorpion. Not only a drunken monkey stung by a scorpion, but possessed by a ghost. Very difficult to control that guy. And when the mind that's like that travels, what do? In principle, one of the things you do is you follow what Krishna says in chapter 6 Bhagavad Gita. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self, capital S. So that's the first, which makes its way into Hari Bhakti Vilas and makes its way into explanations by successive acharyas. So these are teachings to help us chant with quality, even up to the stage of perfection. Cleanliness, very simple. Cleanliness is a Brahminical principle. We discussed this yesterday. Here it is again, the same illustration. Gundicha Marjana Lila. Cleansing the temple, the Gundicha temple, to make an inviting place for Krishna to stay, Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra to stay, and then return after some days to the temple. So, to invite the mind to become capable of receiving Krishna nicely, there's this external cleanliness and there's the internal cleanliness. And we heard from Shikshastika the internal cleanliness, Chaitadarpana Marjanam. And that's the more difficult part. But there's a potency within the holy name that makes it possible. So the external part, that's the easier part. The internal part is you would say that's part of the Anartana Vritti process. That's what we discussed yesterday. So those are two. Then silence. Monam Shaivasmi Guyanam. Of secret things I am silence. Shh. And what does that mean? To speak only Bhagavad Gita and reject talk unrelated to Krishna, that's mona. You don't literally have to button your lip, but you speak about Krishna, that's silence. and not about other things, that's silence. Now tomorrow, when we do our 64 round day, it means you can't remain silent while chanting, but other conversation is out of bounds. Now, here comes another little illustration. Sometimes devotees get distracted when chanting. So that's another example of, that's a no-no. That's violating silence. He's not saying anything, but he's distracted. And contemplating the meaning of the mantra helps that achieve that stage of silence. Then non-haste or patience. Nice photograph of Prabhupada. He looks very happy, yes? Here's a nice description by Shrutakirti. Shrutakirti was one of the two most stalwart personal servants of Srila Prabhupada. One day I was sitting in his room in New Dwarka, cleaning around his desk. He was sitting behind his desk, chanting japa. As he pulled down the counter bead, he looked at me with a beautiful smile and said humorously, "There, I have finished my 16 rounds. Now I can do any damn thing I want." So this is an illustration of the non-haste or patience. It's the same. It's explicitly within Patanjali's system. The restless nature of the unsteady mind is called vyagrata. So this is the opposite. Vyagrata tvam. One should chant peaceful, undisturbed. And if it takes some time, sometimes it takes some time. No worries. There's this final one. Non-dejection or steadiness. You see the turtle. He's got a big road ahead of him. One should not become discouraged by moving slowly in his endeavor to attain the desired goal. Rather, one should chant with patience. So, Rupa Goswami's teachings, again, derived, one can say, derived, or one of the sources is Patanjali. So, Utsahanishchayat Dhairyat, another word for this steadiness or non-dejection. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So this is our last slide, and here's the each of the six, one by one. Mana samharanam. This we heard in Hari Bhakti Vilas, exact same Sanskrit as Patanjali. Subduing the mind, cleanliness, silence, mantrartha chintanam. We spent a fair amount of time with that one in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Mantrartha chintanam, the meaning and the value of the holy name. Not being in a big hurry, being very patient to get the consequence. So these are some transcendental teachings, how to chant with quality. Discussion. Much shorter than yesterday. Krishna's kind.
Maharaj, in my experience of chanting, for the first 15 minutes, I try to apply these things and I'm successful to some degree. But after 15 minutes, it kind of, it goes away and then back to my regular chanting. It seems like the attraction is not there to sustain it. So what would you recommend so we can, throughout the 2 hours, keep that quality?
Takes me more than 2 hours. It takes many people more than 2 hours, but if you can chant in 2 hours, fantastic. I used to chant in 2 hours, but not anymore. In my discussions with Shyamasundar, who many of the devotees participate in his japa call, he is very particular about how many minutes each round takes and experimenting this way, that way, and he's found that chanting a little bit slower helps. Chant a little bit swiftly also can help. But now back to the main point of your question, it's not just the amount of time. I mean, two things, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena and Sadhu Sangha. So how many years we've been having these japa retreats? How many? 17? And then next year 18, and then next year 19, and so. Now I have some privilege. I'm a sannyasi. In 2 weeks I'm doing another japa retreat, in 2 weeks after that another japa retreat, in 2 weeks another japa retreat. So I'm getting reminders of these messages. So reminders of these messages, and part like this, this is the repetitiveness. One of the verses in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, it can be said in different ways, but 3 main parts. Something that you do every day, something that you do for a sustained period of time, there's Sanskrit term for each of these. And the third is with faith, that's going to get you to where you want to go. So you revisit, hit the reset button and revisit. And then you practice, and then you hit the reset button and re-practice. A little bit, your question is different from, but a little bit like Varsana's question yesterday, where, making progress to overcome things seemed easier before, and now it's becoming not so easy. So it's not the same question, but similar, related at least, which is our whole topic. So our whole topic this morning class is how to go beyond the mediocrity, or I start for 15 minutes, but then I get distracted again. There are different ways, but practice, and there are different ways of practicing. Some devotees like this way of practicing, some will take a break and then pause, read something that's inspirational, that's meaningful to you, and then resume. And there's different ways. Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. That's Krishna's answer in Bhagavad Gita. Sadhu Sangha is another. Just keep regular association. When you get distracted, somebody knows you're getting distracted, they give you one of these, or one of these. Prabhu. Something else. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. I'm sorry. So I have a question from yesterday's session. So one of those slides said, as much as the heart is relieved of unwanted habits, so to that degree we become devoted to Krishna. As much as devotion is firmly fixed in our hearts, to that degree we acquire realized knowledge. And as much as the heart is illuminated by both devotion and knowledge, to that degree we taste spiritual happiness. So the question was, how does spiritual happiness coming from devotion and knowledge is different from material happiness? And if they can coexist, or are they mutually exclusive?
Well, by definition, material happiness means in forgetfulness of the source of everything. That's material happiness. So can they coexist? No. Can darkness and light coexist? No. And one can be engaged in worldly things in Krishna consciousness. And then it's not material happiness. The light's on. It's not material happiness anymore. So the requirement is not reject your nature, and with your nature, your inclination. Just like our young devotees, they like kirtan. They're not supposed to reject their attraction for music. They, you take any example, but there's one example because he's playing mridanga on his knees right now. It's built in. So, but in relation to Krishna, and then for whom is this music being performed? Anyways, what's the purpose of the spiritual purpose, the non-material or spiritual purposes, for the pleasure of Krishna? So I still have my nature, but let me focus the purpose that Krishna should be pleased. And then playing mridanga on his knees is just fine. Or anything. But it's not, they don't coexist. They can be mixed, but not exactly coexist. Okay?
Yeah. And the second question is from today's session.
You're okay. I can hear you.
Oh, so in the power of chanting the holy name, so if it's in the name itself, or does it depend on the faith, intention, and purity of the chanter?
I don't understand the question. Could you say it again without looking at your microphone, at your cell phone? Just say the question.
Yeah, so is the power of holy name is in the name itself?
Yes.
Or does it depend on the faith, intention, and purity?
Our experience is the variable. Our intention is the variable in our experience. But the power is there regardless. It's cloudy sky. Above the clouds, is the sun shining? So if consciousness is cloudy, our experience of the sunshine is going to be according to the covering, or diminished by the covering. And then there's unsteady. Like it looked like this morning it's going to be a nice, bright, sunny day, and then something happened. And who knows what's going to happen later today. Maybe it'll become bright and sunny, maybe it's going to rain, who knows. So the variable of our experience is not within the name. The variable of our experience is what you said it is. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Yes. He has to press the right button, then it'll work. He's getting there. He's getting there.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, he got there.
Srirama Swami, I wanted to understand from my position to take, advantage, or like one of the devotees asked yesterday, to understand what my intention is. And you're thinking on Nama Aparat, and I'm still see that I'm struggling with Dhamma apparat and specifically with inattentive chanting, which is the issue, the subject matter of the class today, this morning.
And this evening.
And this evening, yeah. So, inattentive chanting, and obviously, one of the things that you mentioned yesterday was that in one of the excellence to become attentive, the heart had to be purified. So it's almost like
which comes first.
Yes, and then so I'm caught in this pickle in one sense.
No, it's a process. You're not there yet. There's the goal. Here's where I am. I'm moving towards the goal, but I'm not there yet. So what do? I mean, it's similar to Gopal Hari's question. I'm not there yet. What do I do to get there? Keep practicing. Keep fixed on the goal. Make sure your GPS is on, and you have the destination. And you keep practicing according to prescribed means, and keep good association. Go ahead.
Just to clarify the definition or the difference between Nama Parat and Nama Bas. Obviously,
there's the clearing stage. So are you trying to become, or are you just carrying on being distracted? And it's no problem, because that's where I am, so I'm just carrying on where I am. So it's striving, it's the intention. Referring back to the question.
Okay.
And then there's unsteadiness. Sometimes less, sometimes more. Sometimes I'm out to lunch. Sometimes not at all. So there's unsteadiness.
Yes.
When it goes down, then it's more on the side of aparad, and when it goes up, it's on the side of clearing. And therefore, like it's, Gopal Hari's question, we have to continue to practice. That's what we're doing. That's why we're here. We're all in the same boat, in different positions in our trajectory of Krishna Bhakti. We're in the same position. It's to be fair, both you and Gopal Hari are very experienced devotees, in comparison to many other devotees in the room. So you're not there yet, and they're not there yet. So misery loves company, right? But keep trying. And same principles. Strive to practice, strive for purification, keep good association, keep reminding yourself. Don't beat yourself up, bang yourself in the head and feel bad, and all of those, things that don't help anybody. So recognize, be honest, and move forward. Oh, look at that, and way in the back. Way in the back. Way in the back. Could you give... We're going to give to Premananda first. Can we give to Premananda first?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Age before beauty, right? It's a joke. It's a joke.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Maharaj, because this verse that you spoke today, it has been the most inspirational verse I have been, my mind was set on for quite some time. And
oh, good.
Thank you so very, very much, because...
And you're in the same boat as Gopal Hari, right?
No, No, I was no, no. I was thinking like your class really reinforced my feelings towards this verse so much.
Okay, good.
Thank you again a million times. Yesterday you quoted a verse from Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, and in the purport, Srila Prabhupada spoke something about Patanjali's Yoga Sutra and also
Yeah.
the Sampratnata and Asampratnata Samadhi. He elaborated a little bit in the purport.
Yeah.
And in there, the Sampratnata Samadhi is still using the mind. And gradually, when one develops love of God, the mind is also the mind which has been used as a means for attaining or developing attraction for the Lord. Just like how Kapila Dev speaking, how the hook is used for catching the fish. Similarly, eventually the hook is withdrawn, like the chitta, which is compared to a hook, it is withdrawn. And in essence, when the perfection of yoga is attained, it is not about controlling the mind, rather it is about engaging the mind or being absorbed in the beauty of the Lord, so that mind has no way of going anywhere but being situated, being attracted towards the beauty of Krishna. So I was thinking that is the method given to us, which is a very, very simple procedure, but because we are so contaminated and we have so many, coverings.
So many what?
We have so much of coverings of ignorance, and therefore we are not able to. However, it is not about controlling the mind, but it is about engaging the mind. So my question is, the controlling the mind has to happen, but at the same time, engaging seems to be more productive or more, the method which will help us to improve in our chanting and making any progress. Is this correct or not?
Yes, it's correct. What you're saying is exactly the conversation between your son and myself yesterday. Mukunda was asking a question, the secondary and the primary. Remember? So the secondary is secondary, and the secondary follows the primary. So it's about engaging the mind, not about controlling the mind. Because if one tries to control the mind, good luck. You know, the drunken monkey, stung by a scorpion, haunted by a ghost. So engaging the mind, how do you engage monkeys? You know, monkeys can be trained. They're still monkeys, but they can be trained. So the mind, it's one of Prabhupada's favorite words, training. And look what he did. He came to America and did what he did with people that were all over the place, in dark places too, and so it's about engaging the mind. That's yoga. That it's beyond the impersonalism or the philosophy and the Gyan yoga and Dhyan yoga. It's bhakti yoga. That's engaging the mind in. And our topic is specifically the holy name, and the reason for this age of Kali. This is it. And we need to get better at it and better at it and better at it. So I wanted to comment one other thing in what you said, and that is one of the documents I'm going to be circulating Could you remind me the documents I'm going to circulate? Because there's one for this evening, there's one going to be for the initiation. In the initiation topic, there's going to be discussion of text 56 from Sri Brahma Samhita. And wow, that's where the train is going. That's the description of the spiritual world and the associates, Krishna and the associates of Krishna's spiritual world. It's fantastic. And so let the mind go there. And all of that is the fruit of Brahma's chanting the mantra. He has this, he's in this place of darkness, chanting his mantra. And he gets this realization of Svetadweep. It's not, the milk ocean Svetadweep, it's Goloka. It's really fantastic. And so, you and Gopal Hari, who are in the same boat, and the rest of us that are in the same boat, just different positions in the boat, that's a very nice meditation on the attractiveness. It's part of the meaning, but it's the place of Krishna's abode. That's what those long verses are saying. I'm just commenting on the beauty of Krishna and his abode and his name and his form and his qualities. And there's, so much literature, so much writing on that topic, but that's a really nice source. Okay, beauty.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. My question is, you said contemplating the meaning of...
Wait a minute. You're reading and it's mumbling.
Okay. My question is, you said contemplating the meaning of the value of the holy name.
Yeah.
The Mahamantra helps achieve silence. Silence in terms of when we're chanting, being distracted. While we're chanting, is it okay to contemplate the meaning of the holy name?
Oh yeah, not only is it okay, that's to go from mediocrity to excellence. That's what will help you get to excellence. Okay?
Thank you.
Now, I'm looking at my watch. We have 3 minutes. You're the last question. You got a microphone already. Wow.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the wonderful session. My question is related to the quote that Srila Prabhupada had regarding why not 16, why not 16,000, and also the idea of respect, and that you will speak later.
Yes.
And so, is it that when we try to chant more, are we going back from Namabhas to Namaprad? Like
No.
sometimes we try to do more.
No.
And we are not very respectful of the holy name. We just keep our beads and we chant more. And
So then if you get into that space where it's just numbers and not quality, hit the pause button, step back, reflect. What's going on here? Is it about numbers? No, it's not about numbers. What's it about? Why the numbers? To help me get purified. So if I'm chanting with the right purpose for purification, and that Krishna's hearing the name being called, he responds. So then you go back to chanting. There's something online.
thank you, Maharaj.
We do not have the name of the person who's asking.
Okay.
The question is, I focus on the surface.
On the surface?
Or formality more during the spiritual practice. But Krishna's Leela is totally beyond logical formality.
Yes.
I definitely cannot grasp Krishna in this way. How to dive deep?
How to?
Dive deep.
Dive deep. Same question, same answer. When you're a public speaker, you get asked these how-to questions so many times. So I haven't done it in a while, but I used to just hold up here's my flashcard, Sadhu Sangha, and then unpack Sadhu Sangha, and then you pack it back up and you get Sadhu Sangha. So find sadhus with whom you have access to and have respect for, and when you have respect for, you listen carefully, you don't just blah blah and then don't pay attention. You hear with respect. That's this evening. So sadhu sangha, with respect for the sadhu and the message of the sadhu. And that's the course correction. And then you have to apply it. Small thing. And then you have to apply it, at least to some degree, maybe not perfectly, because we're not perfect yet, but that's, then you put it all back together again, sadhu sangha. Bhajana kriya anartha nivritti. So that's the how-to. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj, for this moving and heartfelt class.
Can everyone just hold it for 2 minutes? Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for hand-holding us in this journey from mediocrity to perfection in chanting the holy name. It was a very heartfelt and a very elegant presentation. So, first, some housekeeping announcements. Number one is safety. These mats are beautiful, but the mat and the floor combination makes it very treacherous, so please be mindful of that. And if these mats are not needed, please pile them up either by the door or in the back of the room. Next, if anyone has young children, there are programs for 5 to 12-year-olds in the ground floor, in the first level. Or if you're a teenager, there is a specific schedule for them, and those programs will happen in the 3rd floor. So if you have registered for this retreat, there are wristbands available when you go down for breakfast. Please make sure to collect them. And finally, after breakfast at 10 o'clock, if you do not have any service, please come back to the temple room for kirtan. And then 10:30, we'll have our second session. So if you are a child, you will have Pookalam at 10:30. And if you're a teenager, you will have a session with Mukunda Prabhu in the 3rd floor at 10:30 as well. So thank you so much. It's breakfast time now. Hare Krishna.